first of all, let me begin by saying Tashi Dele, everybody.
Dejarme empezar simplemente diciendo Tashi Delek a todo el mundo. Tashi Delek.
Nice to see Lama Luisa, especially here, as well as Lubin Pepe.
Es realmente un placer ver a Lama Luisa y a Lopon Pepe hoy aquí.
And to all of you, the members in the group, let me begin by saying how I admire the work that you're doing.
Y para empezar, me gustaría expresar cómo yo admiro todo el trabajo que estáis llevando a cabo.
It's a very important work.
Es un trabajo realmente importante.
Because even from a Buddhist point of view, especially in the Vajrayana, we deal with the mind, especially.
Porque desde el Vajrayana nosotros tenemos que lidiar con la mente.
So, in essence, we say that everything is the manifestation from the mind itself.
En esencia, decimos en el Vajrayana que todo es una manifestación de la mente.
And then you all would know much better and have a deeper understanding of how important this is to get a better understanding of how our mind works.
Todos vosotros entenderéis que por eso es realmente importante comprender cómo funciona la mente.
First of all, also, let me just begin by saying I'm not a Buddhist scholar.
Dejarme empezar. Again, Rimponche, you are not a Buddhist?
I'm not a Buddhist scholar.
Que no es como un reclamador budista, ¿no? No está aquí para reclamar adeptos. Yeah.
And not a psychologist, psychiatrist in any way of shape
Y no
or form.
No es psicólogo o psiquiatra en ninguna de sus formas.
So today, when I talk to you, let me talk from the heart itself.
Entonces, simplemente cuando os hable, os voy a hablar desde el corazón.
Now, as the topic of this today's talk or counsel, advice, call it what you may, is the two most important things that are very close to my heart.
Los temas de hoy son dos cosas realmente importantes, cercanas a mi corazón.
Yeah, love and compassion.
El amor y la compasión son los dos puntos, los dos temas.
Two of the easiest things that we can say, I love, I am kind, I am compassionate.
Dos de las más sencillas cosas que podemos a veces expresar, soy amoroso, soy compasivo.
Or we may think we love, we are kind, we are generous.
O a veces pensamos, no, yo soy generoso, soy amoroso.
But in another sense, when you really contemplate on these two subjects,
pero desde otra perspectiva, cuando realmente contemplamos estos dos puntos, el amor y la compasión,
it is the most difficult thing if we are very honest with ourselves.
Es realmente contemplarlo profundamente y honestamente realmente complejo y difícil.
Because our love, our compassion, it comes with conditions.
Porque normalmente nuestro amor y compasión viene con condiciones.
So it extends only usually to the people we like, to the people we admire, to our family, to our friends.
Nosotros expandimos este amor y compasión normalmente a aquellas personas que queremos y que nos caen simpáticas, nuestros amigos, nuestra familia.
And when it comes to others, especially even to the ones that are injurious to us, even to our enemies, even to the strangers, to the people we don't know, then this love and compassion becomes very difficult for us to generate.
Generar compasión y amor con aquellos que son nuestros enemigos o nuestros contrincantes o aquellos que nos generan dificultades es realmente difícil.
So that's why I always say love and compassion. Actually, in our Vajrayana, we have a saying, we say love and compassion is extended to, we say, semchen tamche, that means to every sentient being without exception.
En el Vajrayana decimos que el amor y la compasión debe ser extendida a todo ser sintiente, sin excepción.
But if we are really honest with ourselves, even we know that this is not possible.
Pero si realmente somos honestos con nosotras mismas, vemos que no es posible.
Because as human beings, we have limitations
Porque como seres humanos tenemos limitaciones
and we have emotions, negative emotions that are very difficult to control.
y tenemos emociones y las emociones negativas son realmente difíciles de controlar.
And what compounds that negative emotion is our conditioned mind.
Y lo que compone las emociones negativas, de lo que están compuestas, es de las condiciones de nuestra mente.
So this conditioned mind of ours, honestly, is what creates the obstacles in having a genuine, and I mean a genuine sense of love and compassion to all sentient beings.
Nuestra condición mental es la que genera los obstáculos para no poder tener amor y compasión a todos los seres sintientes.
So today, let me talk about, I'm not talking about a general love and compassion that when we see a homeless person, then we go and give him or her some food, or the love and compassion we have, in general, like when we see things that are tragic, something that affects us. I'm not talking about today. I don't want to concentrate much on that kind of mundane sort of love and compassion.
Hoy, dejarme hablar sobre un tipo muy especial de amor y compasión no es el amor y compasión general al que estamos acostumbrados cuando, por ejemplo, vemos a un indigente o vemos tragedias y nos genera una compasión y un amor. Es diferente. No vamos a hablar de ese tipo de amor y compasión generales, va a ser más específico.
Today, I want to emphasize the love and compassion that I'm talking about is let's just call it, because I don't know how to describe this. So let's just say, let's give it a label. Let's say, because we're human beings, we need to label things. So let's call this the most supreme love and supreme compassion.
Entonces, hoy hablaremos de lo que yo llamo, lo etiqueto porque es difícil etiquetar, pero necesitamos como seres humanos etiquetas, lo que llamo amor supremo y compasión suprema, para diferenciarlo de este amor y compasión generales al que estamos acostumbrados.
So this supreme love and compassion is now, instead of thinking of it as something outwardly, we are going to concentrate on our inner self.
Este amor y compasión supremos requiere que nos concentremos primero en nosotros mismos.
So let me just explain. As I said before, right? If we are truly to observe even this gathering just now, you will understand that everything is a manifestation of a mind. The way you dress is because it manifests because your mind says, I like wearing white. Some of you are wearing blue. I like wearing blue.
Dejarme enfatizar que incluso el encuentro de hoy, todo es una expresión de la mente y de la condición mental. Cuando nos vestimos, el que nos guste un tipo de ropa, el azul o el blanco, está condicionado por una disposición mental.
That's also a manifestation of our mind, is our likes and dislikes, right? Like you all might like paella, I may like New York style pizza, right?
Nuestros gustos o aquello que no nos gusta también es una expresión directa de nuestra condición mental.
So these are all the manifestation of our mind. So you see how important it is that we have to have love. When we say have to have love and compassion ourselves, because if we have love and compassion for ourselves, then everything that is reflected is just self-arising, self-radiation. Mm-hmm. But when we don't have love and compassion within ourselves, for ourselves, whatever we radiate outside is all not genuine.
Entonces, si partimos de que todo es una expresión y una manifestación de la mente, para poder alcanzar ese amor y compasión supremas, primero tenemos que empezar por nosotros mismos, darnos ese amor y esa compasión a nosotros mismos. Porque entonces desde ahí todo va a ser una radiación hacia afuera, desde nosotros hacia afuera.
So I will explain further as I go on. I might go all over the place here and there, but in the end, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. It'll all come together and you'll go, okay, now I understand. So don't get
Voy
worried
a,
going all over the place.
no os preocupéis si voy cambiando y al principio no lo entendéis, al final todas las piezas del puzzle se van a ir colocando.
Yeah. So now on one level, as I said before, because now we agree, or I hope you agree, that most of the things that that surrounds us, whether it is the room that you see in front of you, my room, these are things that I like. Why is it there? It's because it manifests from my mind.
Estaréis de acuerdo en que todo lo que veis, la habitación que rodea, incluso mi habitación, es porque tengo unos gustos y mis gustos son una manifestación de mi mente.
That's why do we love some people? Why do we get angry at some people? Why are we kind to some people? Why are we unkind to some people? We have to realize everything has to do with the mind and its manifestation. For therefore, it is true that what we think, we manifest.
¿Qué es lo que hace que nos guste una gente o que no nos guste otra, que nos guste una estética o otra? Tenemos que comprender que es todo, absolutamente todo, una expresión y manifestación de nuestra mente.
Even now in this world, as we speak right now, as what's going on, even the wars that we see in Ukraine, even the terrorist activities that we see. Of course, in one hand, you say it is caused by evil, but when you say evil, where does that evil manifest from? It manifests exactly from the mind itself, because,
Cuando vemos tragedias o guerras o actos terroristas, podemos pensar, estos son actos de algunas fuerzas oscuras o del demonio mismo, ¿no? Pero ¿de dónde salen esos demonios? ¿De dónde salen esas fuerzas oscuras o esa negatividad? De la mente, de la misma mente.
Yes, from this mind which is conditioned either by the circumstances we grew up in or because of the causes and conditions that surrounds us, right? You all are Spanish. You may like Spanish people better than maybe gypsies, let's say.
La mente se va creando y condicionando según nuestra educación y las condiciones de nuestro entorno y crecimiento.
Or you may like your own class, like you say, if you belong to say the English people, if you're English, you think the English are the greatest human beings on the planet. If you're Spanish, you think Spanish are the greatest people on the planet. So this, in one level, this is what happens when we do not understand how to absorb love and compassion in the stream of thoughts that arises.
Si no entendemos el funcionamiento de la mente y de cómo impacta ese amor y compasión en nosotros mismos y que eso tiene un resultado en todo lo que hacemos, pues simplemente nos dejamos llevar por las condiciones y condicionamientos. Si somos españoles, pues nos gusta España; si somos ingleses, nos gusta nuestra cultura, nos gusta lo inglés, y simplemente nos dejamos llevar por estos condicionamientos. Estamos condicionados.
So we can agree that if we do not contemplate, study our mind, understand how profound love and compassion is within ourselves, how it can manifest into hatred, why it can be the cause of so much destruction and mental and physical affliction, how we cause harm, everything stems because of the lack of genuine love and compassion within the depths of our hearts.
Si hay una falta de comprensión, entendimiento y una falta de ese verdadero amor y compasión supremos en nosotros mismos, no nos damos cuenta de cuánto daño pueden hacer nuestras acciones y todos esos condicionamientos.
So it's safe to say just now that you all agree now, at least to a certain level, that we have an understanding. All right, so now I realize that from the mind's manifestation comes a lot of suffering and a lot of division. And therefore, what can I do to stabilize, or maybe to break this conditioned way of thoughts that has shaped our lives from the moment we were born by outside influences? Because truth of the matter is, from a Buddhist point of view, we are all born with the innate nature of goodness, kindness, generosity.
Ok, desde el punto de vista budista, todos hemos nacido con las condiciones innatas de amor, compasión, generosidad. Entonces, estaréis de acuerdo que ahora mismo, si analizamos e intentamos entender cómo influencian estos condicionamientos, nos damos cuenta que el impacto que tienen en el exterior y el sufrimiento que causan, si entendemos realmente profundamente el funcionamiento de la mente y que todo es una manifestación de la mente, entenderemos que es muy importante pararse un momento a observarla e intentar romper esos condicionamientos.
So from Vajrayana point of view, we say, as aspiring bodhisattvas, we need to cultivate a mind that is characterized by being stable, having insight, having love, and having compassion for others.
Entonces, especialmente desde el Vajrayana, se enfatiza el trabajar esos condicionamientos, el cultivar la mente. Como vemos que todo parte de ahí, el énfasis es en cultivar la mente, trabajarla, romper los condicionamientos, etc.
From my own experience, how we can cultivate love and compassion. Now, the supreme kind of love and compassion, when I say supreme, it means that now, because from a Buddhist point of view, let me just say that all of us, there is no such thing as strangers from a Buddhist point of view. There are no strangers, because no matter what it is, we all have met before, whether we have met in the 6 realms, be it in the 3 lower realms, or be it in the human realm or the 2 God realms. There's not a place that we haven't met or interacted with one another. Sometimes you've been my father, my mother. Some of you have been my wife, my husband. I've been your husband, your wife. I've been your uncle. I've been your enemy.
Desde el punto de vista del budismo, nadie de los que estamos aquí presentes somos extraños. Todos nos conocemos de otras vidas y nos hemos encontrado o en otros reinos o en otras dimensiones, o hemos sido padres, hijos, amigos, pero nadie de los que estamos aquí somos extraños desde el punto de vista budista.
So, such is life. So from a Buddhist point of view, we've been lovers, we have been enemies, we have been friends, we have been family. So taking that into account, we have to realize first, to everybody that has been kind to us, and that means, Samchen Tamkit means to all of you, including all of you here, including everybody that I do not like in one form or another, to those who have been kind, we have to have the realization that we owe a karmic debt or debt to these people.
Entonces, si todos nos conocemos y nos hemos encontrado anteriormente, tenemos que darnos cuenta que hay deudas kármicas entre todos, porque hemos sido enemigos en algunos momentos o hemos sido amables los unos con los otros, pero en otros puntos no. Entonces, toda la interacción se basa en parte en esa deuda kármica.
So therefore, even when I see people, for instance, even whoever I meet, or whoever you all meet also, that's the kind of thing that you should understand. The realization you should have is that we have met before in one shape or form. We have known each other. Therefore, in this lifetime, just the fact that we are meeting here right now, from at least from our Buddhist point of view, if you're not Buddhist, from a Buddhist point of view, means we have done something so right in the previous lifetime that right now we are meeting together in this human form.
Para encontrarnos en esta vida actual, quiere decir que en la vida anterior ya nos hemos encontrado y ya han sucedido cosas que han influenciado que nos volvamos a encontrar en esta vida.
And therefore, when I meet you without any judgment. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what kind of a lifestyle you lead. It doesn't matter what you have done. I meet you to now, even here in this meeting, as I'm meeting all of you, I meet you devoid of any judgment. I meet you, I'm here to say, let me repay my karmic debt. Therefore, let me love you for who you are, just the way you are, whether you're a mean person, whether you're a good person, whether you are the scum of the earth, no matter what it is. But for me, I meet you and I embrace you with no judgment, but with love.
Entonces, desde ese punto de vista, cuando yo estoy aquí y os encuentro a todos vosotros, entiendo que tengo algún tipo de deuda kármica del pasado y este encuentro intento atenderlo desde ningún juicio, desde ninguna idea preconcebida, simplemente con amor supremo y entendiendo que algún tipo de deuda kármica tengo y abriéndome a ese no juicio y a ese amor.
And that's why I say it's very, you see, what was I talking? Oh, yeah. So you see, when we love and we have love and we generate love and compassion, it's one thing. That's why it's very easily, that's why I always tell everyone that I meet, it's very easy to say, you know, I want to generate love and compassion. But you have to understand it's the most difficult thing of all the teachings that you may receive. It doesn't matter whether from which religion it is. It doesn't matter from what kind of what you say, institution or thing or whatever you align with. You will realize that love and compassion are the two things that are really difficult to generate, because even within this group, for instance, you all might not get along together. You know, today you all might have a meal together. Tomorrow you might not be talking to somebody in this group. Day after tomorrow you all may have a fallout.
Puede parecer que generar compasión y amor sea muy fácil y que uno se diga a sí mismo, no, yo puedo ser amoroso, yo puedo ser compasivo, pero realmente son dos de los puntos más difíciles. El amor supremo y la compasión suprema son dos temas muy complejos y son las más altas enseñanzas a las que podemos llegar. Hoy mismo estamos todos aquí reunidos, pero mañana no nos veremos, no vamos a comer juntos, esto se disolverá. Generar realmente amor y compasión supremas en cada momento delante de cualquier situación es realmente difícil y complejo.
So what's important is now, since we realize, as I said before, because of the manifestation of our mind, the state of our mind, because of our conditioned mind, if sometimes the things we do is cause hate and pain. So there must be some way I can change. So how do I change that? First of all, you must make the space in your heart to receive love and compassion for yourself. Because if your heart has no space to receive love and compassion for yourself, no matter what you do, no matter what retreats you do, no matter you may go and serve like a single Salvation Army person, go serve all the homeless people that you want, do all the good that you want. But if your heart doesn't have space to receive love and compassion, then that is where the first problem lies.
Desde que hemos comprendido aquí que la naturaleza de la mente es la manifestadora de la realidad, si tenemos dentro de nosotros odio o rabia, generamos desde ahí, y lo primero que tenemos que hacer es darnos a nosotros mismos, generar un espacio para generar ese amor y esa compasión suprema. Si no, todo lo que hagamos, si no hay ese espacio para ese amor y esa compasión suprema, todo lo que vayamos a manifestar no podrá generar el amor y la compasión en el exterior.
So how do we create this space? It's very important to understand that we do this first of all by contemplation. That means we have to be honest with ourselves. When we do something, for instance, if we get angry at somebody out of jealousy, right? We have to be honest with ourselves to say, okay, whatever I said today, maybe the mean thing that I said to him or her, I did it because I was jealous.
Primero de todo, para generar ese espacio, para darnos ese amor y compasión a nosotros, se hace a través de la contemplación y de la observación de nosotros mismos. Si en un momento dado he sentido celos hacia alguien, lo que tenemos que hacer es empezar por observarlo, contemplarlo y esa situación, lo que ha habido. He estado celoso.
So these negative emotions that are contained within us, because we're human beings, even I don't expect that you all, of anyone, or even our Vajrayana followers, the Njuptasa followers, to subdue those feelings, because we're human beings. You know, it will rise time and again. Today we may get angry for 2 days, we may get angry for 3 days, it'll subside, but then again it will rise. It's like a wave of the ocean. It comes and goes, comes and goes, comes and goes.
No se trata para nada de suprimir las emociones negativas. Incluso los practicantes del Vajrayana, la expectativa no es suprimir las emociones. Hay que comprender y aceptar que las emociones vienen y van, como el oleaje del mar, viene y va, viene y va.
So the point is here not to subdue our negative emotions, but to understand when it arises, how we are truthful with ourselves, contemplate and say, this is a negative emotion. The action that I committed or the negative thought that I generated is negative. I did it, whether it is out of hate, whether it is out of aversion, whether it is out of whatever reason it is. First is to be honest. Second is to realize, okay. Go ahead.
Lo primero de todo es ser honestos con nosotros mismos y contemplar lo que emerge. Si emerge una emoción negativa, no reprimirla, verla, enfrentarla y reconocerla. Estoy teniendo ahora mismo pensamientos negativos, o ahora mismo de mí estoy generando una emoción negativa. Lo primero, el primer paso es ser honestos en el reconocimiento de que estoy participando de esa generación de esa emoción negativa.
So it is to recognize it for what it is, and it is to gain realization. That means this realization means, okay, the essence of whatever thought that has arisen is because of my own negative thoughts. Got that? Once we are honest with that, then how can I transform that into wisdom?
Después de reconocer, después de contemplar qué emociones han emergido y reconocerlas y aceptarlas, a intentar entender de dónde viene esa emoción negativa y transformarla. El siguiente paso sería transformarla en sabiduría.
Because everything, even from the Vajrayana point of view, is it doesn't matter whether it's good or bad. Anything that arises can be transformed into wisdom. That is the point.
Desde el punto de vista del Vajrayana, se entiende que todo, absolutamente todo, se puede transformar en sabiduría.
So for instance, let's say Emma called me, you are a fat whale.
A fat whale.
Whale.
Ah, ok. Dice, por ejemplo, imaginemos que ahora Emma me llama ballena gorda. Sorry, Rimponche.
So what's my first reaction as a human being? I'm angry. How dare she? That's my anger.
La primera reacción como ser humano, si Emma me llama ballena gorda, sería enfadarme mucho.
Now, I may be angry for a few hours, I may be angry for a month, but ultimately, yes.
A lo mejor estoy muy enfadado durante horas, o estoy muy enfadado durante semanas, o incluso durante un mes entero.
But as the Buddhist prescription says, an antidote to hate is love. So that antidote I will apply here in this instance. I'll say, okay, Emma has said I am a fat whale. Now I'm getting angry day by day. Who am I causing suffering and pain to? Nobody but myself now. It's like Emma slapped me, and now I'm slapping myself just by thinking about it.
Uh-huh. Una vez que Emma me ha dicho que soy una ballena gorda, si yo sigo generando esa rabia y ese enfado contra ella día tras día, ¿quién está causando sufrimiento? Yo mismo, a mí mismo, pensando esto cada día. Es como si Emma me pega una torta y los días siguientes yo me voy pegando tortas a mí mismo. Y el antídoto, desde el Vajrayana, el antídoto para el odio o para ese enfado sería el amor supremo.
So if I can gain the realization that, okay, now I'm harming nobody, but I'm harming myself. And
si
if
puedo entender,
Go ahead.
Si puedo entender que, si puedo lograr comprender que ahora ya no estoy dañando a nadie, sino primero a mí mismo.
And you know that every one of us has been in that situation when we are mean, angry people, even the people around us gets affected, because that's how the mind, without even us realizing ourselves, that's how our mind manifests. Because when we have an angry mind, we even are angry and upset with the people that we love.
Entonces, cuando comprendo que ese estado mental afecta a todo, día tras día, si lo conservo, y a todo mi entorno, cuando conservo un estado mental negativo, afecta a las personas que me rodean y lo tiñe todo. Si entiendo esto...
So, when with contemplation, and we don't have to be great Buddhist masters, anyone can do this, you, me, anyone. We don't have to be great meditators.
Para este ejercicio de contemplación y observación, no necesitamos ser grandes maestros ni practicantes de budismo.
We have to understand, okay, now that I know that I'm hurting nobody but myself, what can I do to transform this? First things first, I will stop being angry. I'm going to dissolve that. That's one thing we have to understand for our own sake.
Entonces, una vez entendemos que no estoy causando daño más que a mí mismo, tenemos que empezar por disolver ese estado mental negativo.
And secondly, because now I know that the pain from what Emma did to me, that the pain that I feel within me, that hurt, I understand what kind of hurt that is. Therefore, I want to make a commitment that I will not cause the same kind of hurt to another sentient being.
El segundo punto es, una vez entiendo cuánto dolor ha infligido Emma en mí, y cuando he sentido ese dolor dentro de mí, es el compromiso de no infligir el mismo dolor a ningún ser sintiente. Este sería el segundo punto.
And if genuinely we are able to commit, although I don't think so, next day we'll be angry again when something else pops up, but even at that moment, we are able to realize that this pain is something that just the thought of saying, I don't want to cause it to another sentient being, to another human being, just having thought that this in itself has just transformed something negative into wisdom.
Simplemente en el momento que me doy cuenta de cuánto duele, de cómo se siente ese dolor que me han causado a mí, y siento que yo no quiero causar ese dolor a nadie, ese simple instante ya está transformando todo aquello negativo en sabiduría.
Why I keep on saying wisdom is because in our Vajrayana, even the most supreme love and compassion needs the union of wisdom.
El amor y la compasión supremas necesitan la unión con la sabiduría.
So that's why it's very important we have to understand. So for all of us here also, really, that we are all gathered together just now, for all of us here, there's not a single one of us that we haven't felt the pain of separation from either it is our loved ones or the things that we love.
No hay nadie aquí que no haya sentido dolor. Dolor por la separación de seres queridos, por la pérdida de seres queridos.
There's not a single one of us that hasn't suffered.
No hay nadie aquí que no haya sufrido.
So that pain and that suffering that we go through is nothing like that's a Spanish suffering, or that is a Bhutanese suffering, or that is an American suffering. It's nothing like that.
Ese dolor y ese sufrimiento no sabe de distinciones. No hay un dolor español y un sufrimiento español, o un dolor y sufrimiento butanés, o un dolor y sufrimiento americano.
This kind of pain that we feel when we lose loved ones, the pain that we feel when we separate from the ones that we love, that is universal.
Ese dolor que sentimos cuando perdemos a alguien o a un ser querido es un dolor universal. No hay distinciones.
Even the tears we cry, when, especially me too, because I've lost so many family members throughout the years, even the tears that we cry, there's no such thing as my Tibetan tears. There's no such thing as your Spanish tears. It is
Incluso las lágrimas que derramamos no saben de distinciones. Yo mismo que he derramado lágrimas últimamente por la pérdida de diferentes familiares y seres queridos, no hay diferencia entre mis lágrimas por ese dolor a las lágrimas de una persona de España o de Bután.
So in one level, you can say this is a single tear of humanity itself. We can also say this is a single tear of all classes of beings in all the realms.
Es un rasgo común entre todos los seres humanos. Ese dolor es un rasgo común entre todos.
And then also wisdom is to understand that nothing lasts, nothing in this world lasts, not even a diamond. Diamond is forever is a lie. It was invented by De Beers to sell more diamonds.
Entonces hay que entender que nada en este mundo dura para siempre o permanece. Ni siquiera el diamante que dicen que perdura y que es perdurable es una mentira. No hay nada que sea permanente.
Everything is transient, and even next year, as I always tell people, sometimes when we meet next year, I hope we all can meet again like this, but even life is so impermanent and so transient that even some of us will not be here.
Todo es transitorio, y aunque nos gustaría mucho encontrarnos dentro de un año aquí todos, nadie lo puede asegurar. Todo es impermanente y transitorio, y puede que si nos volviéramos a juntar dentro de un año, alguien faltara.
So when we get this kind of realization, I call it little realizations, then we will really understand why it is that we really have to first understand that and generate, I will not say bodhicitta because some of you are not Buddhists, but that's why generate the supreme love and compassion for ourselves. The way we think, when we can generate love and compassion for ourselves, when I say for ourselves, why love and compassion means, you go ahead, sorry, Emma, go ahead.
Entonces, para entender estos pequeños estados de comprensión, son los que nos llevan a entender lo importante que es generar primero para nuestra mente los estados de compasión y de amor supremos.
When I say love and compassion, the most supreme love and compassion for ourselves means that translates into, I'm not here to change you. I'm here to understand myself, to change my own conditioned mind so that I am able to love you and love everyone. That's the supreme
Entonces,
love and compassion.
el amor supremo y la compasión suprema se refiere a que yo no estoy aquí para cambiarte a ti. Yo estoy aquí para entender primero mi mente, para primero generar amor y compasión conmigo mismo y a partir de ahí poder generar compasión y amor supremos hacia el otro, sea cual sea su condición, hacia todo.
Supreme love and compassion also means I'm not here to say I'm going to tolerate you. Whether you're Christian, whether you're Muslim, I'm not going to say, when we say I'm going to tolerate you means I am right, you are wrong, but I still accept you. That's not the point. Supreme love and compassion means I'm here to change myself so that I know I have my truth. It works for me. You have your truth. It works for you. And therefore, I am here to respect that truth.
Amor y compasión supremos no quieren decir que yo te tolero a ti, porque tolerarte a ti quiere decir yo estoy en la verdad y tú no. Amor y compasión supremos quieren decir yo primero me cambio a mí, cambio yo, y yo entiendo la naturaleza de mi verdad, entiendo la naturaleza de tu verdad, y desde ahí nos respetamos.
Because if we genuinely don't change that within ourselves, that's why I say supreme love. Why it's important to have that within ourselves is because even when I go to a church, for instance, when I go to a church, even I know the Lord's Prayer, Our Father who thou art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our transgressions as we forgive those who transgress against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, thy power, and thy glory forever and ever. Amen. When I say it with genuine respect. I'm not saying it to put on an act.
I'm not going to translate the prayer, ¿no?
Oh, no, not the prayer.
Rimponche dice que incluso él, cuando entra en una iglesia, él acaba de recitar ahora en inglés una de las oraciones cristianas, y cuando entra en una iglesia es capaz de recitar una oración cristiana, porque aunque sea diferente de su background o su religión, tiene un profundo respeto hacia el otro y hacia las otras religiones.
And so I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. It means, so the most supreme love, most supreme generosity, most supreme compassion means we are changing ourselves. We are breaking our conditioned minds. The mind that we have, we are breaking what is conditioned within us so that I may love genuinely, I may love with genuine compassion, so that I may reflect genuine kindness, so that I may have genuine understanding.
Entonces, una vez más, entendemos que para expresar ese amor y compasión supremas, primero cambio mi condición mental. Rompo esas condiciones mentales conmigo mismo para ser capaz de desprenderme de esas condiciones, de ver al otro, de respetar al otro y emerger un amor y una compasión genuinas, saliendo de las condiciones.
Genuine love and genuine compassion for ourselves also means that we realize and we accept that we are not right, that everything, yes.
Amor y compasión genuinos quieren decir que me doy cuenta de mi propia mente, de que yo no estoy en la verdad.
That I'm not here to say that my way is the only way, that what I do is the right thing, what you're doing is the wrong thing. When we have genuine love and compassion for ourselves, we are saying, I am going to make an effort to change my way of thinking.
Cuando tenemos amor y compasión genuinos y supremos, me doy cuenta de yo voy a cambiar para generar ese cambio en mí y en el otro.
When we have genuine love and compassion for ourselves, I'm also saying, I want to be free, free from all the negative emotions that are within me.
Tener compasión y amor por uno mismo significa también decirse, yo quiero ser libre. Quiero ser libre de todas las emociones negativas, de todos esos condicionamientos negativos.
When we have genuine love and compassion for ourselves, I'm also saying, I understand and I accept that I have a conditioned mind. Therefore, I am the way I am. I like the things I like. You like the things you like. I hate the things I hate. You hate the things you hate. Doesn't mean one is better necessarily than the other one.
Cuando tengo amor y compasión por mí mismo, acepto simplemente que esos condicionamientos son los que hacen que yo tenga unos gustos u otros, que odie una cosa u otra y que las cosas que a mí me gustan no sean las que a ti te gustan.
For instance, let's say for us, like for how privileged we are. So in the lifestyles that we lead, just the very fact that you're here on Zoom talking to me, owning a computer, perhaps our experience, maybe I like American, pasteurized milk, I drink like that. But for a poor person, an underprivileged person who may not have the privilege to have tasted the milk that we taste, and all they, I'm sorry if anyone's vegan here, but I'm just giving an example. If all he tastes is a watered down version of milk and he thinks that's the tastiest, and we think ours is the tastiest, but when we look at that person and say, oh my God, this guy, he's completely wrong. I feel so sorry for him. So, that kind of differences is what we have to dissolve.
Tenemos que disolver las diferencias de compararnos con los otros. Nosotros, por ejemplo, somos personas privilegiadas, tenemos un ordenador, tenemos comida, en nuestra nevera tenemos leche. A mí me gusta, por ejemplo, un tipo de leche de vaca particular y a lo mejor yo voy por la calle, me encuentro a un indigente que está bebiendo porque no es privilegiado y no tiene acceso, pues otro tipo de leche más aguada o una cosa que yo pienso en ese momento, ostras, que está bebiendo, ¿no? Eso no es la leche una buena leche. Y Rimpoché dice que espera que no haya nadie vegano aquí en esta comunidad. Esas diferencias, cuando yo me comparo con el otro y pienso en negativo con el otro, esas diferencias son las que hay que disolver.
In essence, what I'm saying is we cannot say we have the best milk, you have the worst milk, because that's quoting according to his experience, according to the causes and conditions that he is in. That's the best milk for him. For us, this is the best milk for us.
Entonces, entendiendo esto, no podemos decir yo tengo la mejor leche y este indigente está bebiendo la peor leche, porque todo viene de las condiciones que tenemos. Yo soy una persona privilegiada y tengo acceso a un tipo de leche, pero las condiciones del otro son totalmente diferentes y solo tiene acceso a esa otra leche. Hay que entender esta diferencia de condiciones.
You see, because like when we were children, at least when I was a child, and I used to get even $1 or $2, I thought I was the richest person on the planet. I would go eat food, Now $2 won't even get me coffee. So back then, yes, I was, it was very, I felt like a millionaire with $2 when I was young. I could go get so much food. But now in this present situation, $2 just doesn't even get me a Starbucks coffee.
Todos podemos apreciar cómo de relativo es todo. Yo cuando era pequeño me daban $1 o $2 para comprarme algo y me sentía la persona más millonaria del mundo, porque para mí $1 o $2 eran muchísimo. Ahora mismo, en este momento presente, a mí me dan $1 o $2 y con eso no voy ni a la vuelta de la esquina a comprarme un café, con lo cual la situación y las condiciones son muy relativas, depende del momento.
So when you have really genuine, as I said, supreme love and compassion for yourself, you will automatically generate what is known as understanding, which is very important.
Entonces, cuando emerge la real compasión y amor supremos, empezamos a empieza a emerger la naturaleza de la comprensión, la verdadera comprensión.
You will also begin to realize that there actually is no difference really between any of us at all.
Entonces, uno se da cuenta, cuando empieza a emerger la verdadera comprensión, uno se da cuenta de que no hay diferencias entre todos nosotros, para nada.
At all, that we all, no matter who we are, when we hurt the same. When we are happy, it's the same happiness.
Entonces, todos nosotros, cuando hacemos daño, es el mismo dolor. Cuando estamos felices, es la misma felicidad.
But this understanding, this realization only happens, as I said, when we are really truthful to ourselves.
Pero ese entendimiento y ese darse cuenta solo emerge cuando realmente somos honestos y verdaderos con nosotros mismos.
When we ourselves are determined to change as a human being, to change as a person, then we make space for genuine love and compassion for ourselves to take root within the depths of our heart.
Cuando realmente nos determinamos a cambiar a nosotros mismos y a la naturaleza de nosotros mismos, es cuando se puede dar ese espacio y puede enraizar en nuestro corazón el amor y la compasión suprema.
But if we do not even acknowledge our own shortcomings, if we do not contemplate on them, if we do not make an effort to change, then there is no such thing as love and compassion for oneself. It doesn't exist.
Pero entonces si ignoramos, por otro lado, si ignoramos todo esto y no nos damos cuenta y no hay posibilidad de observar y de contemplar, entonces no hay posibilidad de tener amor y compasión supremas ni para nosotros mismos ni para los demás.
So see, it's not just good enough to just say, I have a good intention to do good.
No
That
es,
alone is not enough.
no es suficiente decir, es que yo tengo buenas intenciones para hacer el bien. Esto no es suficiente.
So you have to say, you have to understand. So this love and compassion, now what I'm talking about, by now I hope you realize it, that love and compassion I'm talking about means I want to change my own conditioned mind so that I can accept you for whatever you are, for whoever you are.
Amor y compasión supremas significan yo me quiero cambiar a mí misma para entender quién eres tú y para aceptar quién eres tú.
And knowing that there is no such thing as a stranger, I want to repay the karmic debt that I owe you.
Y entendiendo que no somos extraños, quiero saldar la deuda kármica que te debo.
And therefore, let me, when we like with this, let me work on myself, let me work on my own shortcomings. And when you work on your own shortcomings, when you contemplate on your own faults, that is called supreme love and compassion for oneself.
Entonces, para ello, para saldar esa deuda, déjame primero trabajar en mis automatismos, en mis mecanismos, en mis resortes que emergen. Y cuando yo hago esto y tú también lo haces, entonces emerge el verdadero y supremo amor y compasión.
And then when we slowly, when we make an effort to do this, eventually every little labels that we have given others, whether we say, when we see somebody, we see people as white, we see people as black, we see people as Asian, Chinese, American, all of these labels will melt.
Y cuando empezamos a hacer ese ejercicio, poquito a poquito, todas las etiquetas y todas las diferencias van cayendo. Si somos blancos, si somos negros, si somos chinos o americanos, poco a poco toda la diferencia se va disolviendo.
We'll also have the understanding that compassion represents a part of a whole.
También nosotros tenemos la comprensión de que la compasión es una parte de un todo.
And that we all of us are interdependent.
Y que todos nosotros, absolutamente todos, somos interdependientes.
And then we are connected to that whole.
Y estamos todos conectados a este todo.
So from one point of view, from a Buddhist point of view, when I'm not just saying be kind to people. When I say be kind to people, I say be kind to yourself as well. But be kind to yourself doesn't mean go to Starbucks and order a cappuccino or an Americano. I'm not saying that.
Cuando desde el punto de vista budista, no solo decimos sé amable con los demás, también decimos sé amable contigo mismo, pero no quiere decir ese ser amable con uno mismo, no quiere decir vete al Starbucks y cómprate un cappuccino o lo que te guste.
When I say be kind to yourself means make an effort to gain the realization that you are also conditioned by your own mind.
Ser amable contigo mismo significa haz el esfuerzo de darte cuenta de que estás condicionado por tu propia mente.
And to break that conditioning.
Para romper este condicionamiento.
So you can see the true nature of all things just as they are.
Entonces así, rompiendo ese condicionamiento, realmente puedes ver la verdadera naturaleza de todas las cosas como ellas son en realidad.
And when you're able to do that, and you're able to generate love and compassion, and then you don't have to worry, it will radiate by itself to others.
Una vez has logrado hacer eso, generar ese amor y esa compasión, ya no te tienes que preocupar de nada más, simplemente irradiará por sí solo a todos los demás.
First of all, in this world, you cannot solve anything. We can all collectively get together and make an impact. Second thing I want to tell all of you is whatever position you all have reached, partly is so many factors play a role. Partly is karma, partly is your hard work, partly is the causes and conditions of whatever it is. One thing is never feel guilty finding yourself in the position that you find yourself in. That's one important thing. Another thing is...
Rimponché dice que primero de todo resolver esas diferencias entre unos y otros para seguir facilitándonos la vida no es posible, porque hay impacto de muchos factores kármicos, diferentes factores. Y el segundo punto que es muy, muy importante es no entrar en la culpa por nuestro posicionamiento. Nosotros tenemos un posicionamiento y es muy importante no entrar en culpa.
Second thing you have to understand is we can make, even as individuals and collectively, we are not going to solve problems. Don't look for solutions to solve problems, because samsara, I don't know how to explain that to the non-Buddhists, or the world is such that there's always going to be obstacles that are going to arise or things that are always going to arise, but we can make a meaningful impact. How do we do that? If we are in a position of good fortune or whatever it is, practice generosity. Generosity, not just in terms of material, but generosity in terms of, it can be anything. If a person is sick, your friend is sick, a stranger is sick, go to the hospital. If somebody is suicidal, they're depressed, they need to talk to somebody, practice the generosity of listening. Generosity in this sense is very important. We all can make we all cannot solve problems, but we can make an impact, meaningful impact in other people's lives. This is something very important.
El punto central y más importante es que no podemos solventar todos los obstáculos porque siguiendo la rueda del samsara desde el punto de vista budista, siempre va a seguir habiendo obstáculos. Lo que sí que podemos hacer es generar un impacto con significado en la vida de los demás. Por ejemplo, si nosotros tenemos una buena posición o una posición privilegiada, practicar la generosidad con aquel que no tiene, la generosidad con aquel que le falta, pero no podemos solventar problemas sin generar impacto lleno de significado.
Buddha couldn't do it, Jesus Christ couldn't do it, Moses couldn't do it, Allah couldn't do it. It's because, you see, karma is continuous. It's a continuous action. You have to understand that.
El karma tiene una acción continua y por eso hay una rueda de obstáculos que ni siquiera Jesucristo, ni Moisés, ni Alá, ni Buda pudieron romper o interrumpir o solventar.
We cannot solve the problem, but we can do something meaningful to elevate the suffering as much as we can.
Nosotros no podemos solventar todos los problemas, pero podemos hacer algo con significado para elevar el sufrimiento tanto como podamos.
If you want to save the world, you cannot save the world.
Si quieres salvar el mundo, pues no puedes salvar el mundo.
Nobody can save the world
Nadie puede salvarlo.
because of all the different things, you know, all the karma that is generated. As long as we're in samsara, there's going to be pain, there's going to be suffering, but we can do our part.
Mientras estemos en la rueda del samsara, va a seguir habiendo sufrimiento y dolor. No podemos solventar esos obstáculos, pero podemos hacer nuestra parte, nuestra pequeña parte.
That's why strive to have a good heart.
Por eso, empeñate en tener un buen corazón.
Strive to treat everybody that you meet with respect and dignity and kindness.
Esfuérzate en tratar a cualquiera con el que te encuentres con amabilidad, con amor, con respeto.
That is what you can do for others.
Esto es lo que podéis hacer para los demás.
And as I said, generate generosity and
Generar
loving
generosidad. Generar generosidad y compasión y amor.
We all have a part we have to play on this earth.
Todos tenemos una parte, un rol que jugar en esta tierra.
At least let's be more aware of, let's not cause suffering.
Y al menos vamos a ser más conscientes de ello y no causar sufrimiento.
To others as least as we can.
Causar sufrimiento a otros, al menos intentemos causar lo menos posible.
That is our responsibility.
Esta es nuestra responsabilidad. Ok.
Ok, tenemos a Anita desde Chile, que nos dice en el chat, si quieres leerlo en el chat, para no tenerlo que leer yo, y le puedes traducir directamente.
Vale, voy al chat. We have one question from Anita Molina from Chile.
Oh, Chile.
Yeah.
Where? Good food.
Yeah. And Anita says, I'm here because I want to contribute to make this world better. But
Yes.
sometimes okay, sometimes just to feel this love and compassion and feel the relativity of life makes that these things that I want to change, they are not anymore important, because somehow I understand these things and I leave the judgments and I stop to fight against it. And this brings me to a point of no action. Then I don't understand.
I think I get what she's saying to a point. That's what I'm talking about. Work on yourself. Because slowly, if you can work on yourself, as I said before, everything will be reflected by itself. That's the point. We're not here to save or change other sentient beings or other beings.
Este es exactamente el punto. Este es el punto crucial. No cambiar las cosas de fuera, sino empezar por cambiar a nosotros mismos. Y poco a poco, derivado de ese cambio, se empezarán a dar reflejos por sí mismos. Ese es el punto.
If you can do that, then of course, again, because if I get into what talks and all that, that's completely, that'll be going really off topic here, but there are things we can do, of course, collectively we can do, but on a personal level, the best thing is, just as we said, don't leave the least carbon footprint you can in this life. Leave the least suffering you can, not to be the cause of others' suffering. And that is your responsibility. That is what you should do. And do what you can, whether it's helping one person, whether it's helping two people. Don't think of saving the world. You cannot save the world. I keep on telling people, don't have a Superman, Superwoman complex.
Yo no paro de decirle a la gente, no cojáis un complejo de Superman o Superwoman, porque no podemos salvar el mundo entero. Simplemente dedícate a dejar la menor huella posible en este mundo, a causar el menor sufrimiento posible en este mundo, y haz lo que puedas. Si puedes ayudar a una persona, si puedes ayudar a otra, pero no te fijes en intentar cambiar el mundo entero.
So when you change yourself actually within, honestly, when you are contemplating and changing yourself, you're doing a good service. Actually, you'll be less angry, you'll cause less suffering. If nothing else, just be the cause of happiness for others. That's all you have to worry about.
Realmente es el punto, cambiarse a uno mismo, porque si te cambias a ti mismo, causarás menos sufrimiento a los demás, causarás menos impacto en los demás. Y eso realmente es un servicio, eso ya es un servicio hacia los demás.
But having that intention and thinking in that way, that in itself is so noble.
Pero ya la intención que pones en tu pregunta, y ya solo la intención es muy noble.
So what we should understand is, yes, our intention should be that we want to help all sentient beings, but we also must be realistic, because sometimes we can't even get along with our own mother-in-law. How are we going to serve all sentient beings?
Que la intención es muy noble y realmente es importante también tener la intención de querer ayudar a todos los seres sintientes, pero que también tenemos que ser realistas. ¿Y cómo vamos a ayudar a todos los seres sintientes si a veces no podemos lidiar ni con nuestra propia suegra?
Most importantly, if you really want to change, be of service, then we have to reach a level where even the people who are very interested to us, we have to try to love them. That in itself is a huge obstacle to climb. If you can do that, that's better than trying to help everyone else, which is impossible.
Mejor que intentar ayudar a todo el mundo, podemos concentrarnos en intentar solventar un obstáculo que no es por menor, que es intentar ser amables y generar compasión y amor supremos con aquellos que nos están creando malestar.
Because think, now I'm not saying anything political or anything like that, but I'm just saying, think, even if President Putin, for instance, just now because of the war, if he had contemplated and understood and, worked on his own mind, do you think this war would be happening? Do you think?
Si, por ejemplo, Putin se hubiera parado a pensar sobre estas cuestiones y a observar la naturaleza de su mente, ¿creéis que se hubiera generado esta guerra?
Because if we try to change, and one day, I don't know, one of you might become the president or prime minister of Spain, right? But if you start working from now on your own mind, on your own contemplation, on realizing how important it is to have love, how important it is to have compassion for yourself so others, it can be reflected. When you start working on yourself, and one day when you become the prime minister also, that will translate.
Si algún día, imaginaos que algún día alguno de vosotros llegáis a ser presidentes de España, imaginaos el impacto que tendría haber previamente trabajado en los condicionamientos y en la naturaleza de vuestra propia mente, porque al haber hecho eso se reflejaría en todas vuestras acciones y en toda la responsabilidad que tendríais.
So stop focusing too much. It's good, but stop focusing too much on the external, because it is what is internal that actually really is important.
Dejemos ya de enfocarnos en lo externo. Empecemos por lo interno, por nosotros mismos.
Bien.
Tenemos
Adelante.
a Yasin,
Sí.
desde Tánger, Marruecos.
Yassine is gonna put a question from Tanger in Morocco.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Bueno, voy a hacer la pregunta en español. Gracias por traer todo bueno, el trabajo en sí mismo, el trabajo en la compasión y el amor en sí. Y mi pregunta
Thank you very much.
Perdón. Sí.
Thank you very much to bring this, all of this work and wisdom about love and compassion.
Mi pregunta quizás sea obvia, de respuesta obvia, pero en el afán a veces de cambio interno, de trabajar en la luz, me pregunto si hay el riesgo de ocultar su oscuridad, evitar ver la oscuridad, porque, and I'll say it in English, how important is it to embrace the obscurity, one's own obscurity?
It is very important. It's very important to embrace it, because if we do not embrace it, we will not understand it. That is the thing. You see, sometimes people don't understand even your own thoughts that are hurtful. You have to embrace. Only when you embrace it and it becomes a friend, then you understand. Do you understand your enemies? You don't even want to speak about your enemies. So embracing those, even what you just said, is so important. This is how we can make change. Although it's difficult, I understand. Now, I'm not, as I said, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't even claim to understand the nature of the mind. But from my experience, when I speak, I'm speaking from the heart. Even the hurt that I have been through sometimes, and yes, even we, we as human beings go through that. Even the hurt that arises within my mind sometimes, I embrace it. It's very important to embrace it. When you embrace it, then you begin to understand the essence of really what is important, what is to be dissolved, and what causes the hurt, which is very important. And embracing it is the way to go, actually. That's very important.
Es sumamente importante abrazar esa oscuridad, comprenderla, acercarse y amistarse, porque así realmente conocemos su naturaleza y es solo así cuando la podemos disolver, cuando la entendemos. Nosotros no conocemos a nuestros enemigos, conocemos a nuestros amigos, con lo cual es muy importante abrazar, realmente es un punto muy importante, abrazar esa oscuridad, entenderla para poder disolverla y transformarla.
Ok, Natalia Varela desde Madrid.
Did you say you all are serving paella?
Natalia Varela desde Madrid.
Sí,
No,
hola.
Yeah. Hola Natalia. Adelante.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Hola Rinpoché, gracias por esta oportunidad. Lo voy a decir en español y luego voy a tratar de hacerlo en inglés, que me hace ilusión, Emma, aunque no sé si lo haré bien. Gracias por esta oportunidad y esta cercanía con nosotros. Tengo una pregunta para comprender mejor este camino, porque me gusta comprender un poco todo o casi todo, y es respecto a las vidas pasadas y el karma. La pregunta ¿es necesario limpiar todo lo ocurrido en estas vidas pasadas? ¿O simplemente con una actitud de amor incondicional suprema y compasión suprema hacia la otra persona, esta vida pasada y estos karmas se van limpiando? Porque el karma se llega a limpiar en algún momento de nuestra vida. Vale, esto sería un poco lo que le...
Vale, mejor que traduzca Emma, seguimos el protocolo que tenemos.
Vale, ok.
Vale.
Y luego quería darle las gracias por la realización del POWA hacia mi padre.
Natalia wanted to say thank you for your the realization of the POWA for his father who passed away not long ago. And she's asking if it's needed to really to clean all the karma that we have.
No.
Or it's okay.
No. No, not needed. Now think of it like this. Your float, say somebody's floating in the ocean. Now, if it's fat like me, and I'm drowning. Even if you throw me a rubber tube, I'll still drown. That's how karma is. But if you're thin and you know, and you have a backpack of karma, and then you have 3 bags, you remove 2 bags, that's fine. You'll float, you'll be saved. So don't think of it in that way. It doesn't have to be entirely clean as such, or, you know, things like that, okay? It just depends.
Que depende, que es un poco relativo, que imagínate la situación que alguien está flotando en el mar y que es muy orondo como él, y entonces, aunque le tiren un flotador, se sigue hundiendo por sus condiciones y por su karma. Ese es un tipo de karma que no se puede, es lo que hay. Otra situación sería alguien que es más delgado, pero que lleva 2 o 3 mochilas y se está hundiendo. Sí hay la posibilidad aquí de sacarse alguna de las mochilas y eso hacer que no se hunda. Entonces, es un poco relativo.
Because
Pero
whatever,
no hay que limpiar.
yes, because whatever inherited karma that we have, that's why even in our next life, that's why it's always good to do practice and do, you know, pujas and things like that. That's at least as long as you get counsel from a lama or something, what necessary things need to be done. And the inherited karma we have when we take the next rebirth, and then we have to burn it off. That's why slowly we have to burn it off. Don't worry about, there's nothing that can fully dissolve the karma. Whatever's inherited by his or her effort, they have to burn it off themselves or lighten the load. Okay,
hay un karma heredado que poco a poco se puede ir disolviendo, que para eso él recomienda, pues eso, ¿no? Hacer práctica y dejarse aconsejar por un lama que pueda aconsejarle una práctica. Se pueden hacer cosas para ir disolviendo el karma, pero bueno, que hay un karma heredado que va evolucionando.
Katiuska también había hecho la misma pregunta, cómo disolver su karma desde Venezuela. Si hay algo más.
Katiuska was one woman from Venezuela was also putting the same question, how to dissolve her karma.
How to dissolve, no, how to lighten your karma. Be a good Be a good person. As I said before, strive to generate love and compassion. If you are not a Buddhist, that's what I would tell you to do. If you are a Buddhist, then I'd say do practice of Vajrasattva, which is also very important. You know, keep your practice consistent. All virtuous deeds lessens the burden of the karma that we inherit.
Desde el punto de vista budista, si fuerais budistas, para disolver ese karma os diría practicar, sobre todo Vajrasattva, una práctica concreta. Si no sois budistas, os diría intentar llevar a cabo acciones e impactos positivos y hacer el bien en vosotros mismos y en el otro.
Also, as long as, and also another thing is, don't cling onto these things, worrying about such things, because sometimes if you get lost, then it becomes an obstacle. As long as everything comes from good intentions, mostly as it comes from good intention, as long as you're a good person, you know, as long as you do adopt all things that are virtuous and try to abandon all, as much as you can, non-virtuous actions, you don't have to worry about.
No os preocupéis demasiado por el karma o cómo disolver el karma para no quedaros apegados a estas cuestiones. Mientras lo que emerja de vosotros sea desde una buena intención y queráis hacer el bien, desde esa buena intención ya tiene un impacto. No os preocupéis demasiado por los karmas.
But this is just a very in general I'm talking about.
Está hablando muy en general ahora, para un público general.
In particular, it's always good to get counsel from your Lama, you know, like Lama Luisa students, Lupin Pepe students. You all go to your respective Lamas and get their counsel.
Eso era una perspectiva general, más en particular lo que aconsejaría es que os dejéis aconsejar y seáis aconsejados por vuestros lamas, como Lama Luisa o Lopon Pepe que están hoy aquí.
Quería preguntarle a Rinpoché, más bien, todo lo que nos ha expuesto, ¿qué relación tiene con la situación económica que vivimos a nivel mundial? ¿Y cómo ve la salida de esta situación?
Okay, I would love to make you a question, and it's how your exposure today about love and compassion, how you relate this to the economical situation nowadays in our world, in our society, and how we can go out from this situation nowadays.
I thought I just talked 1 hour on how it's done.
Yo pensaba que solo hablaría 1 hora y ya.
You have to change yourself. And
Tú
when you
tienes que cambiarte a ti
work on
mismo.
yourself, clarity arises. Wisdom is gained. And that clarity, with the union of wisdom, you will know what to do. If you do not work on yourself, if you do not make an effort to change yourself, then there's, no matter if I give you a 6-hour talk or if I stay here and talk with you for 5 years continuously, you will not gain anything.
La clave es, para todo esto, trabaja en ti mismo. Cámbiate a ti mismo primero y así ganarás claridad, ganarás sabiduría, y la unión de la claridad con la sabiduría empezará a reflejar. Da igual, si no trabajas en ti mismo, da igual que hablara de esta cuestión durante 6 horas hoy. No cambiaría nada. Lo que realmente importa es que trabajes en ti mismo.
Your best friend is your mind. Your worst enemy is your mind.
Tu mejor amiga es tu mente y tu peor enemigo es tu mente.
If you realize that, then I'm happy.
Si te das cuenta de esto, yo ya me doy por satisfecho, ya soy feliz.
You see?
Thank you, Rinpoche.
In life, we will, especially now let me just, on another point, for instance, right? When I lost my sister, the pain that I went through, for even what I'm going through now, there's this realization that comes, oh my God, everybody's going through that pain. When you have this realization, you must not let it go to waste. In a sense, it's very difficult. If I sit here and tell you life is impermanent, please be good human beings, what will you understand and take out of it? You'll just nod and say, this fat man is saying life is impermanent. Life is impermanent. I'm getting bored of it. The minute you lose somebody that you love, you will understand. That understanding is called realization. That realization is something you must never forget, as painful as it is. That is what drives me. Till this day, this is what motivates me. Because I know when I look at all of you, even I know, if you haven't lost anyone just now that you've loved, I know you're going to lose somebody that you loved, or you have lost somebody that you loved. Knowing that you're going to go through that pain, even if you call me a fat whale, I'm not going to get angry at you. And people have done that on Facebook. They said, but why? People say, why is it that you respond with calmness? It's because I know that that person who called me that name, fat whale, he's also suffering, or he's going to suffer as well. Why do I want to cause him more pain?
Por favor, daros cuenta que en realidad lo importante es este momento de realizar y darse cuenta. Si yo pierdo a un ser querido, este dolor profundo que siento, también lo siente el otro. Incluso si el otro me ha llegado a llamar ballena gorda, no me voy a enfadar porque entiendo que también siente dolor, que es un ser sintiente. Y el dolor que yo un día siento, esa persona también lo va a sufrir. Y ahí dejo de desearle lo peor, aunque me haya llamado ballena gorda. Esto es realmente lo que es importante. Da igual que hable de impermanencia. Hablar de impermanencia no interesa y es aburrido, porque entonces solo puedo estar aquí, vais a decir, ¿qué hace este hombre orondo aquí hablando un montón de horas sobre impermanencia? Eso no es interesante. Lo interesante es el darse cuenta, el que vosotros podáis llegar a ese estado mental de daros cuenta de mi sufrimiento es el sufrimiento del otro, por lo tanto dejo de enfadarme con el otro y lo disuelvo.
That's why I always say to people, whatever it is, enjoy your life that you're living right now. Don't have guilt or feel guilty being in the position that you all are in. This transitory life comes with a lot of pain. It comes with a lot of suffering, but there's a big but in that. Even though it comes with a lot of pain, even though it comes with a lot of suffering, at that moment of pain and suffering that we go through, if we are able to embrace that and gain a realization from that, then you can have a profound transformation where you will find joy and happiness, as weird as it sounds, but that's the truth. As weird as it sounds, for 1 month after my sister passed away to, I don't know, couple of weeks, I didn't want to live.
Cuando mi hermana falleció, después de 2 semanas yo no quería vivir.
Està plorant el Rinpoché.
Thank you, Rinpoché.
Que veremos.
Gracias.
But I have an ending.
Que tengo un final, espera, que tengo un final. No todavía.
Venga.
I'm sorry, I get emotional.
Perdonadme, me he puesto emocional.
No, agradecemos la transparencia y lo genuino de lo que nos transmite, ¿no? Y
We are very
sus
grateful.
emociones.
No, don't worry at all. We are very grateful that you are honest and transparent and that you show your emotions. Very grateful.
Yeah, thank you. But you see, with that pain, and I'm still going through it right now, so to speak, but it had a profound transformation for me. That's why when I tell you all, life is so transient. Work on yourselves. Be a good human being. Treat everybody that you meet with kindness. Is because everybody goes through this pain.
Cuando realmente os digo lo que os he dicho hoy, trabajar en vosotros mismos, daros cuenta de estos puntos, es porque realmente todo el mundo atraviesa el mismo dolor, este tipo de dolor cuando uno pierde a alguien. Yo he atravesado ese dolor cuando perdí a mi hermana y todavía lo sigo atravesando. Por eso emerge ahora mientras hablo con vosotros.
Just like the lady who lost her father, when I say I understand what you're going through, I mean it.
Cuando esta mujer, Natalia, que ha perdido a su padre, cuando me dijo que había perdido a su padre y yo le digo, lo entiendo, realmente quiero decir que lo entiendo. Realmente significa que lo entiendo, porque yo también lo atravieso.
Of course, from a Buddhist point of view, we also have to have the understanding that from the Dharmakaya sense, there is no separation.
Desde el punto de vista budista, tenemos que comprender que no hay separación.
But we are human beings. because we're human beings, we love, we attach, and when that attachment dissolves, the source of the attachment dissolves, we feel the pain.
Cuando como seres humanos nos apegamos y nos apegamos a cosas y cuando la fuente de estas cosas se disuelve, sentimos dolor. Tenemos que entender esto.
So when I tell you, embrace everybody, whether it's your children, whether it's your parents, you know, it doesn't matter who they are, what they are, you know, embrace them, love them, be kind.
Cuando os digo, o sea, entender la importancia de cuando os digo abrazar al otro, a vuestros hijos, a vuestros familiares, a vuestros vecinos, abrazarlos y ser amables.
And that's what's very important.
Y
Everything
esto es lo
else,
importante.
everything else, also everything else, as you all will see, when we reach a point in our life where we have to transition all of this power that we are seeking, all of this money that we want to make, all of these fights that we have with each other, these are not important.
Eso es lo que es realmente importante, lo que os acabo de decir. Todo lo demás, todo el dinero que tenemos, nuestras peleas, las luchas, eso no es realmente importante.
But I understand also, in a relative sense, we have the eight worldly concerns, you know, I understand that, but whatever it is, if nothing else from today, at least take to your heart to make a commitment to change yourself, to break that conditioned mind you may have, you know, not that you may have, that you do have, to make an effort to see other people suffering. And when you are able to, when you suffer yourself, you understand that other people suffer as well. And when you are able to gain that realization, then you don't even have to worry about the bodhicitta intention. It arises by itself. This is what I want to counsel you all to do.
Lo que realmente os quiero transmitir hoy es la importancia de darse cuenta que si entendemos y llegamos a esa realización que cuando nosotros sufrimos, ese sufrimiento también lo siente el otro y que no hay separación, esto es lo realmente importante hoy aquí. Desde ahí podemos empezar a cambiarnos a nosotros y hoy aquí tomar un compromiso con empezar a trabajar en nosotros mismos y a cambiar primero nosotros mismos.
You know, you can go to all the retreats that you want. You can all receive all the empowerments that you want. You can study all the Dharma books that you want. But if you don't make an effort to be a loving, kind person.
Sorry, Rimponche. One moment. Okay, the party is gonna start, it seems.
I'm dancing already. I thought you all were starting the party. I'm dancing already.
Yeah, exactly. It's time to start the party. Sorry, Rimponche.
No, not at all. That was interesting. It whipped me out of my state. That's good.
Yeah. Can you repeat the last thing? I was distracted.
I completely forgot my last what I said.
Me too. Sorry, I was distracted.
I was also distracted. Well, I think in essence, all I'm saying to all of you, in essence,
Apaga todos los micros, ¿no? ¿Alguien tiene el micro abierto?
Están todos apagados, Ferran.
Pues entonces no sabemos.
Rimponche, we don't know because all the micros are off. We really don't know.
I think it's hacking. People are hacking it.
Cree que alguien está hackeando la sesión. Okay. Yeah, they were muting all the micros, but the music was
Still going on.
continued. Yeah.
I'm sure it's not from you.
Ferran, cada una última pregunta. Si es
Maribel, una última pregunta.
Last question from Maribel Rimponche.
Okay. All right.
Mi pregunta es, ¿hasta un Buda, una persona realizada, también siente ese sufrimiento?
I have a question. So even a Buddha can feel this suffering?
Can a Buddha feel the suffering himself in? Buddha is all knowing, all compassionate. Not that he feels the suffering himself, he understands the suffering. And therefore, that's why Chenrezig also has tears, because yes, they feel your suffering, they feel our suffering. But when you reach the state of Buddhahood, you're free from suffering and its causes. But like a bodhisattva, seeing the suffering of people in samsara, that's why this one thing I always say is, as Vajrayana practitioners, instead of saying please, and this is 99.9% of the time I hear this, please, I want to go to one of the realms of Guru Rinpoche, or I want to go to the Dakini realm. As Vajrayana practitioners, that's not what we should ask for. We should ask for coming back again and again, as we say, until all sentient beings are free of suffering and the causes of suffering. You see, but does the Buddha feel suffering? No, he's once you've reached that level, you're free from all the things that causes suffering. But as I said, bodhisattvas looking at us suffering, and therefore that's the reason they come back again and again. And as I said to you all, even when bodhisattvas have come again and again, and they're telling you time and again that everybody is suffering, everybody is going to feel the pain. Therefore, what they're trying to say is, do not try to change others, change yourself. Because when you change yourself, then you magnetize everything that is virtuous, not just virtuous, everything you magnetize is virtuous, everything that you reflect is sort of an enlightened activity, so to speak. Even I'll go there and praise you all and say it's enlightened activity, you see. So don't worry, how can I be a good person? How can I be a nice person? How can I practice the Dharma? You want to practice the Dharma? Change yourself. As I said before, you remember, it's not about, don't use this word, I'm tolerating. No, you're not tolerating. That's not a Buddhist thing to say, I tolerate Muslims, I tolerate Christians. That's not what we are supposed to say. Not tolerating, that's not it. It means we are right, they are wrong. That's not the point, you see. The point is we understand and accept everybody for who they are and what they are. When we gain that realization, understand that, then everything will self-out. That's how you make space for love and compassion within the depths of your heart, right? So make an effort. Yes, go ahead, Emma.
Sorry, because you are creating suffering to translate that. So now I'm suffering.
On purpose, on purpose.
I'm suffering now. So I'm going to try to translate everything from the very beginning. But the main idea is that la idea principal es que el Buda, una vez alcanza ese estado de budeidad, él en sí mismo no siente sufrimiento porque ya se ha desapegado de ese estado. Pero lo que sí siente, por compasión y por amor, por transferencia, sí siente el sufrimiento de los demás. Entonces sí está al servicio de disolver el sufrimiento de los demás. Muchos practicantes de Vajrayana preguntan cómo llegar al reino de las Dakinis, cómo llegar al reino de Guru Rinpoche. Ese no es el camino. El camino es pedir no llegar a esos reinos, sino volver y volver una y otra vez aquí hasta que el sufrimiento sea erradicado de todos los seres sintientes. Por lo tanto, por ello, lo importante es, una vez más, centrarnos en cambiar nosotros primero, para desde ahí magnetizar y cambiar el sufrimiento en nosotros y luego en los demás.
Last thing is, all of you whatever it is, you know, have your fights, talk badly about each other if you all want, no problem. But get back together, at least recenter yourselves, get back together. Don't hold on to these things. It's useless. We are Vajra brothers and sisters. If we fight amongst ourselves within our own mandala,
no luchéis entre vosotros, juntémonos, todos somos hermanos y hermanas, y si luchamos, estamos rompiendo nuestro propio mandala. Dejemos de luchar y simplemente juntémonos y unámonos.
then how are we going to help any sentient beings for that matter? When you practice with pure, one-pointed, really devotion that comes from the heart.
Cuando practiquéis, practicar, que es un camino, cuando practiquéis, practicar realmente con devoción.
When you do good because you're a human being, not because you're a Buddhist.
Cuando quieres hacer el bien, haz el bien porque eres humano, no porque eres budista.
And try to work on yourselves to try to dissolve all the labels and concepts we have generally surrounding us.
Intenta primero disolver todos tus condicionantes y todas las etiquetas que nos rodean. Primero, céntrate en esto.
And most importantly, understand that there's not a single one of us that are strangers, honestly, on this planet.
Y lo más importante es realmente entender que no somos extraños. Nadie en este planeta, no somos extraños. Nos conocemos todos.
So, in essence, honestly, I could have given you the answer in one sentence. How do we help? We help by changing ourselves. It's simple, but very difficult to do.
Yo os voy a dar la respuesta de todo en solo una frase. ¿Cómo podemos ayudar? Cambiándonos a nosotros mismos. Parece sencillo, pero es complicado.
Yeah. And here also, as I'm going to tell you all, don't even like when we have the centers in Spain and, you know, don't have like a competition with each other. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if 2 people come to do talk in your center, whether 100 people come to do in your center. The point of the Dharma is that we do the Dharma no matter who comes or who doesn't. There's no use looking over our shoulders to see who's got a better center or to see who's got a better voice, who's got a better posture in the yoga classes. That's not the point of the Dharma.
El tema del Dharma es no competir entre vosotros, no miréis a nadie por encima del hombro, da igual si vienen solo 2 personas a practicar a vuestro centro o vienen 100. Ese no es el punto.
In essence, if you understand truly what the Dharma is, it's about purification and changing internally.
El Dharma, si queréis entender sobre de qué va el Dharma, va sobre purificación y transformación y cambio internos.
That's the main important thing.
Esta es la principal punto más importante.
But to end it all, as His Holiness Dalai Lama himself says, there's nothing more important than loving kindness.
Para finalizar, como dijo el Dalai Lama, no hay nada más importante que el amor y la amabilidad, la compasión y el amor.
With loving kindness, everything is possible.
Con amabilidad y amor, todo es posible.
In the absence of loving kindness, nothing will be achieved.
En ausencia de amor y amabilidad, nada podrá realizarse, será conseguido.
You can do 30 years retreat, you can do 40 years retreat.
Puedes hacer 30 años de retiro, puedes hacer 40 años de retiro, recibir muchas enseñanzas, pero sin esos elementos no se puede alcanzar.
But
nada.
without loving kindness, and if it hasn't transformed you or transformed your heart, there's no benefit at all to anything.
Si realmente esos elementos no han transformado tu corazón, el amor y la compasión, la amabilidad, sin esos elementos y sin esa transformación a partir de esos elementos, no hay nada que se pueda alcanzar o transformar fuera.
Okay. Now you'll hopefully understand when I say be kind to yourself doesn't mean go to, like I said, don't go to have a plate of paella. That's not the point.
Por eso yo decía que ser amable con uno mismo no es ir a darse un gusto e ir a coger un plato de paella. No va de eso. Ser amable con uno mismo.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Mucho gracias.
Gracias.
Gracias. I will see you all in Spain next year.
Que nos vamos a ver todos en España el próximo año.
Ah, gracias por la noticia. Qué alegría.
Thank you very much for the news.
Thank you. Paella party.
Paella party, que quiero una fiesta de paella.
Okay, all right. Thank you, everyone.
Gracias a todos.
Okay, have a good night.
Tener buena tarde y buena noche. Gracias.
All right. Gracias.
Thank you very much.
Gracias. Muchas gracias. Good night, everybody. Good night.
Gracias. Chao.
Bye.
Bye, bye.
Bueno. Gracias a todos. Aquí hay para... Y bueno, simplemente recordaros a los que estáis en el MIE, bueno, que el itinerario de transformación que llevamos un año desarrollando, pues aquí tenéis lo que subyace, ¿no? Aquí tenéis las claves profundas de ese itinerario de transformación. Es decir, si no te cambias a ti mismo, difícilmente vas a poder colaborar o generar las condiciones para aportar valor en el mundo. Yo creo que ha sido muy claro y que tiene mucho que ver con lo que, bueno, una charla magistral sobre lo que hemos vivido, ¿no? en este año y luego pues un impulso, ¿no? para seguir profundizando en lo que estamos haciendo.